So, when you think of Athens, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Probably the Acropolis, right? But look a little higher, and you'll see another peak that totally defines the skyline. And that one, well, it holds a secret. This is Lycabettus Hill. And believe me, it's so much more than just a landmark. It's actually a laboratory, a place where Athens is testing out its own future. So in this explainer, we're going to dig in and uncover how this ancient hill is becoming a blueprint for modern cities.
Yeah, this is the shot. This is the image everyone knows, right? Lycabettus. It's like this rugged limestone crown just floating above a sea of white buildings. It's the ultimate Instagram spot, for sure. But, and this is the cool part, what's actually happening on and inside this hill is way more interesting than just the view. Seriously, it's where the city's ancient past is colliding with a challenge that's going to define its entire future.
So how high are we actually talking about here? We're talking 277 meters. To put that in perspective, this is the absolute highest point in the entire Greek capital. It's just always there. A constant natural landmark you can spot from pretty much anywhere you are in that massive city down below. And of course, that height is exactly why people make the trip up. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Because from the summit, you get what is, without a doubt, the most staggering, jaw-dropping, all-encompassing view of Athens. Period.
Okay, so once you're at the top, the entire city of Athens just unfolds right beneath your feet. It's incredible. The Acropolis, which feels so massive when you're standing next to it, looks like a tiny model from up here. You can spot the huge Panathenaic Stadium. You see the packed city blocks, and then the sparkling sea just stretching out to the horizon. This view, this is where you really get a sense of the sheer scale of modern Athens. You just can't get this perspective anywhere else. All right, so getting to that incredible view, that's an adventure all on its own. And right off the bat, you've got a choice to make. Are you going to take the journey, or are you going to take the shortcut? And trust me, each one tells a completely different story about your visit. Okay, so option A, the hike. We're talking a really rewarding but tough 45 to 60-minute trek up these winding, zigzagging stairs. It's steep, you're out in the sun, and yeah, you're definitely going to feel it in your legs. Then there's option B, the funicular. This is basically a cable car that just zips you right up to the top in 3 minutes flat. It goes through a tunnel that's literally carved into the hill. So one is a real journey, the other is all about pure, simple convenience. And this really shows you the hill's cool blend of challenge and convenience. A lot of people, they love the hike up, but after a long day, especially after watching the sunset, that €9 funicular ride back down, oh yeah, that is a very, very welcome option. And check this out, a round-trip ticket is only €3 more than a one-way. Now that's not a mistake. It's actually a pretty smart pricing strategy. They want to nudge you to buy the round-trip ticket right from the start. Why? Because it helps them manage the lines and the flow of people, especially late at night. The whole thing just runs smoother that way. All right, so we've made it to the summit. Now, let's peel back another layer of this story. Because right underneath your feet, beneath the viewing platform and the little tourist cafes, there's a history of continuous worship that goes back thousands of years. See, this peak has always been seen as a sacred place. Go way back to ancient times, and there was an altar here dedicated to Zeus Acropolis, that's Zeus of the heights. Fast forward a bit, and with the rise of Christianity, a Byzantine church for the prophet Elijah gets built on that exact same spot. And then finally, in 1870, the beautiful whitewashed chapel you see today, the Chapel of St. George, was built right on top of those old Byzantine foundations. It's like a physical timeline of faith stacked right here in Athens. And you find these little layers of history everywhere you look. You see that tall, elegant bell tower? Here's a cool little tidbit. It wasn't even originally part of the chapel. It was actually a personal gift to the city from Queen Olga, way back in the late 19th century. So you've even got a little touch of royal history mixed into this sacred spot. But the story of Lycabettus isn't just about human history, not by a long shot. Let's shift gears now, moving from the man-made stuff to the natural side of things. Let's talk about how this hill acts as a vital green lung right in the heart of a massive concrete city. You know, that old quote from Aristotle, "In all things of nature there is something of the marvelous," it just feels so true up here. The name Lycabettus itself is said to mean mountain of wolves, which gives you a hint of its wilder past. Now, obviously, the wolves are long gone, but that wild spirit, it's still here, kind of tucked away on its slopes. I mean, You wouldn't expect it, but this hill is a surprising little sanctuary for wildlife. You're walking through the pine groves and cacti, and you can actually find Greek tortoises. And look up, and you might see birds of prey like kestrels circling overhead. It's this remarkable pocket of biodiversity, a tiny wilderness that's somehow thriving right in the middle of a massive, bustling city.
And this brings us to the real heart of our story. Because all of it, the incredible view, the deep history, the surprising nature, all of it is now facing a very, very modern challenge. And the solution? Well, it involves turning this ancient landmark into a laboratory for the future.
So here's the bottom line, the central problem. The city of Athens just doesn't have enough money in its budget to fully cover the cost of maintaining Lycabettus. And what does that mean? It means the hill is vulnerable. Vulnerable to erosion, to wildfires, and just a general lack of investment in its future. It's this beloved public space that's basically facing a slow, sad decline. Okay, so what's the solution on the table? It's something called the Parks Conservancy model, and it's worked really well in other big cities. Here's how it works in a nutshell. A private, nonprofit organization teams up with the city. Their job is to raise funds, organize volunteers, and create new programs for the park. It's a way to bring in a ton more resources and expertise, and this is the key part, without selling off public land. But, the big question was always, can this model really work in Greece? I mean, they don't have a long history of these kinds of public-private partnerships. Well, as it turns out, there's a local example that was so successful, so stunning, that it changed absolutely everything. Meet the Stavros Niarchos Foundation Cultural Center, or SNFCC. This place was funded with over 600 million euros from a private foundation, and then it was just gifted to the Greek state. And it has been a massive, massive success. It proved, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that this model could create world-class public spaces in Athens. It completely changed everyone's idea of what was even possible. And that is exactly why Lycabettus has become what the city planners are now calling a resilience laboratory. Think of it like a pilot project. It's the city's big chance to test out how to mix ecological conservation with smart strategies that can protect the hill from the pressures of tourism and, really importantly, the future impacts of climate change. At the end of the day, the goal is simple: secure the hill's future. It's all about making sure it has the funding and the smart management it needs to stay a vibrant, healthy, and accessible public space. Not just for us today, but for generations of Athenians and visitors to come. So, the next time you see Lycabettus piercing the Athens skyline, remember what's really going on. It's so much more than just a place for a great photo. It's an active, living experiment. It's a test case for how ancient cities everywhere can protect their most cherished landmarks in the 21st century. It's not just a hill anymore. It's becoming a blueprint for the future.